It's Binghamton now on the air on News Radio 1290 WNBF Binghamton and WNBF.com. Listening on your mobile phone app powered by the Stanley Law offices. You can get us wherever you may be. Just tap the app to get connected. It's 9:15, News Radio 1290 WNBF. I'm Roger Neel for Bob Joseph, who has a day off today. We're hosting here an extension of our first news program, and we'll kick things off talking baseball and the Binghamton Rumble Ponies and the winter baseball meetings that just wrapped up in San Diego. We have on our live newsmaker line this morning the owner of the Rumble Ponies, John Hughes. John, good morning and thank you. How are you today?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. I am well. It's been a rough couple of weeks traveling, but we're back. But it's been a productive couple of weeks, so that's encouraging.
Tell us about the winter meetings. They wrapped up over this past weekend out in San Diego, and of course, the concern locally is with our Binghamton Rumble Ponies, and word coming out several weeks ago about the potential of Major League Baseball trimming over 40 minor league teams, which on the list was Binghamton as well as Erie out of the Eastern League. Was there anything encouraging at the meetings over the past week?
Yeah, well, one small point, Roger, it's not just Binghamton that's upset. I mean, you've got 42 communities all across America that are coming together. And the great thing about minor league baseball is, you know, we stand united. It's not just about the 42. It's really about 160 minor league baseball teams that are coming together across the country. I mean, that's always encouraging. But then when you see the additional steps of what's going on in Washington, with Democrats, Republicans, senators, congressmen, all coming together to support minor league baseball, I mean, that's very encouraging. Specific to San Diego, I'll tell you, it's, the best 2 days of the baseball winter meetings are the first day when you get there and everybody's excited to see each other, and the last day because when everybody gets to go home, you're tired. I mean, it is a rough couple of days. You know, you get to see people that you haven't seen all year. It's the only chance you get to see a lot of people in our league. Other than the All-Star game. So it's always great to catch up with people. There are meetings from early in the morning till late at night, and you want to go out to have dinner with friends and things like that. So it's a good time. It's a great time, but when it's over, nobody's ever disappointed that it's over, right?
Exactly. Now, were there specific meetings pertaining to this proposal that originated by the Houston Astros, and Major League Baseball has taken it from there? Were these part of the schedule, or were they kind of an addendum to it?
Well, originally they were not part of the schedule. They have been made an addendum to the meetings, and we actually had executive side sessions with each league about what's going on and where things are right now. I can relate to you that I am encouraged about the progress that's being made, because unlike weeks prior, the two sides weren't talking. And, you know, it's funny and it's ironic that they're talking in the background, yet publicly they're still bantering back and forth about we need to sit down and have fair negotiations, and we need to be transparent with one another. And yet you see behind the scenes that they're actually talking. So that's very encouraging. Anytime people are talking, it's good news. When they're not talking, that's bad news. That's when it's time to get worried. What
was the tone as the meetings concerning minor league baseball? What was that like to start? I mean, obviously there are a lot of people who aren't too happy about this. Were they contentious? Because the contract actually runs out September 15th of 2020 between the minor leagues and major leagues.
Correct. And, you know, I think that one of the big takeaways is this is going to be a long period of negotiations. I don't think you're going to see anything happen too quickly. I think this will drag out into next season. But I think at the end of the day, we'll end up with a fair and reasonable deal for everyone. You know, let's not forget, Major League Baseball is getting ready to enter into negotiations with the Players Association as well. And many of the things that they have proposed, cutting the draft, moving the draft, all those types of things, still have to be resolved with the Players Union. So they have that negotiation going on in tandem.
Do you think that this originated with the movement of some minor league players, certainly, to seek what they think is a fair wage. That came about in the past year. Some players actually bringing lawsuits, I believe, or threatening to, trying to get the wage of a minor league salary up because, let's face it, most of the monies that are made could be in signing bonuses or certainly those of draft picks of a high nature, and so the actual salary's low. But do you think that's where this all originated, this concern about, it's kind of like, okay, well, if we're going to pay more, we're going to have less players?
Yeah, well, it's funny. My father always told me the first time somebody tells you it's not about the money, it's about the money.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's no doubt Major League Baseball is trying to save money. The ironic part is they're sitting up there talking about it's not about the money, we're not trying to save money, but it's $660,000 a team that they're going to save per year, and yet you're seeing teams sign players for hundreds of millions of dollars. It kind of doesn't wash, right? It kind of doesn't make sense what they're doing. It's kind of like speaking out of the two sides of your mouth, right? On one hand, it's not about the money. On the other hand, hey, here's a couple $100 million to this guy over here. When you're talking $600,000, it's inconsequential. It's like Senator Akshar said, that the decimal's in the wrong place. This isn't even a decimal issue. This is like, I guarantee you that the teams don't even round their budgets to the $600,000 level.
Is that what it would be to eliminate at least the Class A operation?
The move proposed by Major League Baseball would save each team $660,000 per year. I mean, it's a staggering amount that they're going to save in retrospect to the damage that they're doing to communities and the damage that they're doing to the future of minor league baseball and baseball as a whole. Really, when you look at it, I mean, Major League Baseball was given the antitrust exemption to take care of baseball and the future of baseball in America. And I think this falls far short of that.
And that's where the elected officials are able to help out. And I understand that there has been a very good rallying cry, in particular with our local officials, trying to take this argument to Congress.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's fantastic. You've got in the irony of the whole thing, right? You've got in Washington, at one of the most contested times in our country's lives, Democrats and Republicans at each other's throats about everything you can think of, and yet they all agree on baseball. I mean, it's somewhat humbling, right? That they can all agree to come together for the betterment of baseball in the country, and the same thing's going on at the local level. You've got Democrats, Republicans, city officials, county officials, state officials, all getting behind this and saying, hey, whatever else is going on the table, we all want baseball in Binghamton. I mean, how can you fail when you're all together like this? It's been very humbling to watch the unity of the entire community come together. It really has.
We're chatting with John Hughes, owner of the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, who was at the baseball winter meetings in San Diego. The players' agreement with Major League Baseball and the minor leagues expires not this fall, but next in 2020, September the 15th. That's where all this is heading towards some kind of an agreement. You know, I kind of find it ironic also, John, that they have made some changes in Major League Baseball, and perhaps this did come out at the winter meetings or was proposed before, but one of those is to bring fewer players up once the minor league seasons end, September the 15th or in that neighborhood, to Major League Baseball. That has always been a time when they bring up and expand the rosters to 40. But the other situation is I think they only go to like 28 in the upcoming season. But the other thing that I find ironic is the amount of money you're talking about is quite interesting, because what they plan to do is add an extra player to the roster in Major League Baseball in the upcoming season. That is not far from the amount, the minimum Major League salary will be going up to $563,500, which is not far from eliminating one team in an organization.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot of irony in this, right? I mean, you're talking about such a small amount of money given the salaries that the players make, and I'm the first one to say, hey, whatever the players can get, good on them. You know, I mean, that's their right. They bargained for that right, and everybody is supportive of that. It's a free economy, and at
Sure.
the same time, man, how can you kick Middle America for trying to support baseball? I mean, a lot of these communities, Binghamton's not unlike any other community. We've gone out and built the stadium to the specifications given to us by Major League Baseball, and then they say, "Hey, I'm sorry, everything that you've done is irrelevant, and the fan support just doesn't matter. We want to take your team and move it to Brooklyn." I mean, in our example, there's a lot of other things going on as well that just don't make a lot of sense.
What have you heard from the New York Mets organization with a potential new owner at some point taking over? But apparently the same people who are in power now will stay for at least 5 years. But what of the Mets? At first, when this all came out, it was unanimous with the major league teams wanting to utilize this proposal. But have the Mets brass talked with you about this potential?
No, nope, they sure haven't. No, they sure haven't. I did think it was interesting that the Yankees came out and said, "Hey, we want Staten Island. We want to keep Staten Island." You know, Randy Levine made the public statement. And I think you're seeing a few more of the major league clubs starting to eke out a little bit and get more supportive of their teams and organizations.
That's a bit shocking, isn't it, that the team that puts the people in here, managers, coaches, and players, would not support what has been done here in Binghamton?
Yeah, I mean, but I think this decision, and to me that's even further point, Roger, that it's not about the community. It's not about what's been done or what's done. I mean, look, are there things we can improve on? Every day. I mean, you have a house, I have a house. As long as you have a house, you will have a list of things that you want to change, do better, and grow, and we'll continue to have that. But these decisions aren't being made by the people that operate in the facilities. These decisions are being made by people looking at analytics and accountants in a room.
Yeah, that's the tough part. They're not the ones that are actually getting it done on locations like Binghamton. With that, now just to recap for people that are unsure, Major League Baseball with their minor league teams are the ones that pay the players' salaries, the coaches and managers' salary also. So that part is taken care of by the Major League team, but the rest of it, the stadium upkeep, all the types of things that you have done and the minor league operators do, is all up to local money that's brought in through attendance, advertising, whatever, right?
Correct. Yep. We're responsible for a lot of those type things, and we've done our part and really tried to move this thing forward. As you know, the stadium has been in pretty dire need of repair over the last 2 years. We've taken a lot of steps forward to correct those things in coordination with the Mets. I mean, one of the ironies of this is one of the worst ballparks in all of America is down in Kinston. 10 years ago, a minor league team left there, and the Texas Rangers bought a team from California and moved it there. And really, the stadium had remained unchanged for about a decade, and the Texas Rangers own it. So if facilities are really an issue, I mean, how can we have that discussion, right? When the major league team owns the facility.
Interesting. Yes. Now, also with the multi-million-dollar improvements over the last several years that you've made, the state has made, local government has helped with the stadium. What do you know? What else has to be done? I mean, I see this kind of an overall view of this in some of the articles and coverage, and the major leagues make it seem like all the teams in question have these multiple improvements that have to be made to get stadiums up to where they want them, but haven't your group, that's already been done, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have a few small outstanding issues that we were working on. However, given the uncertainty of what's going on, I think we are going to stop work and see if we can come up, if the teams can come up with a list of what needs to be done. At that point, we can address that. Until then, we're kind of just guessing and throwing darts at the board that we can't even see.
Wow.
So we're going to wait and see what we get from Major League Baseball about what, if anything, needs to be done.
What was the the tone as the meetings broke up? What's next on the agenda? Are there continuing meetings between the two sides, or where does it stand now?
Yeah, well, the irony of it is, Roger, that for the first time, as far as I can remember, traditionally the meetings are all held under one roof, one hotel with thousands and thousands of people. This year, ironically, in San Diego, we were actually at different hotels several miles apart. We're probably about a mile apart, mile and a half. And there just wasn't the level of interaction that there has been in the past. And I think what everybody's doing is kind of catching their breath and then going to make a run for this after the first of the year. But again, I remain optimistic because at least now the sides are talking. How about that?
It seems from a distance that it is like many bargaining tools when labor, if you will, comes with management or whatever, that Major League Baseball is at first using this as a leverage tool to try to get a better deal somehow out of its agreement with minor leagues. Do you feel that way? Not just eliminate teams,
sure.
but it's,
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be about some of these things that they're going to want more out of the minor league teams. For example, we pay a ticket tax. A portion of the tickets go directly back to Major League Baseball for a fund that they use discretionarily. They're also going to want more buses, more this, more that, and they're going to try to move those costs onto the minor league baseball side of the ledger or create things that don't currently exist and have us fund those.
So that is something that will be ongoing. And again, the agreement for the upcoming year is in place till September the 15th, which would be the end of the 2020 season. So everything's safe for this year. So it does give them, about 8-9 months of negotiating time?
Oh, yeah, for sure, for sure. And a lot of people have asked, hey, what can we do to help? I mean, I think there's two things. You can let your local elected officials know how you feel. And you can also come out to the games and support the team. I mean, I think that's important. Come to the games, bring your signs that says keep baseball in the Bing, things like that. I mean, we're going to need that kind of support throughout the year. This is going to be a battle, and I'm asking the fans and the community to rally behind this and come out to the games, and let's show our support. Let's show Major League Baseball where we stand, and that is united.
And I was at a broadcast yesterday for the Endwell Rotary, and the Binghamton Baseball Booster Club was there in force, and they were having people sign petitions. They've got some beautiful T-shirts that illustrate the support for baseball that they're selling to help bring awareness to the situation. So locally, there is a lot being done, certainly with the Booster Club, and so people are standing up and saying, "Hey, don't do this to our community," and hopefully things will get on the right track. But as an owner, like you look at this negotiation, the longer it goes on, and more delays are in process as far as improvements or planning ahead past 2020. So hopefully Major League Baseball doesn't drag its feet too long.
Oh, yeah. I mean, ultimately, the longer this goes on, the harder it's going to be to turn the spigot back on as far as getting improvements done and things like that, because, the communities are going to need assurances before they just go invest in even $1, right? You're going to want to know, hey, is this list a good list for the next 15 or 20 years, or are we only going to have a 3-year deal, and then at the end of that 3-year deal, you're going to come to us with another list and then another list. I mean, there's got to be some sort of reasonableness, fidelity, and length to this upcoming agreement.
And Commissioner Manfred, was he at the meetings with the minor league owners?
No, he was not.
So who conducts that? One of his deputies or assistants?
No, we kept that to the minor league side. It was the minor league negotiating team that came in and spoke to the owners during the executive session of league meetings.
So when, John, do you think we'll hear anything more on this?
I think it'll be well after the first of the year. I'm optimistic. At some point next season, they're able to announce a deal. I do think that this will continue to play out publicly to some level, which I personally don't think is productive, because feelings get hurt and things get sent out of balance and get misconstrued. But I think that negotiations will continue, and I think next year we'll see progress after the first of the year.
So as we close our chat here today, we can look forward to season tickets, the Eastern League All-Star Game. All those things are on tap and ready for a brand new season, and we'll let the negotiators try to worry about things here as we get into the spring months, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, it's going to be a great year for baseball in Binghamton. We've got the All-Star Game coming up. Fantastic event. We're looking so forward to that. It's unfortunate that all of this detracts from that at any level. That's why we're going to do our best in Binghamton to just focus on this year, get the fans out, show our support for the team and the organization, and show Major League Baseball what you're missing if they try to leave Binghamton.
Sure. Hey, before we leave, too, I wanted to ask you about Erie, because they are another Eastern League team that was named in all this. Did you talk to any of the people there? Are their legislators and fans as up in arms as ours are?
I think we're pretty good in New York, right? How
Yes.
about that? We've got a lot of strong players, and I mean at every level, the city, the county, the state, the federal level. I mean, we're pretty strong and strongly united. I don't want to compare and contrast us to them. I know that they're doing their part, but I like how New York rolls. How about that?
All right, sounds good. John, thank you very much for updating us. I know a lot of fans out there are very concerned, and we wanted to get information out to them as far as what the winter meetings held and what is ongoing at this stage in negotiations. But we hope you have a wonderful Christmas and all the best in the new year, and a good new year 2020 for the Rumble Ponies.
Oh, same to everybody in Binghamton. Love you guys, and let's have a great holiday for sure.
There you go. John Hughes, owner of the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, just back from the baseball winter meetings, filling us in on what has been happening between minor league baseball and the major leagues.